Okay, a few of you have asked me to explain the relax step in more detail. Okay, so I'm going to illustrate this a little bit. So assume you're with your object of meditation, you're sending that wish to yourself or to your friend. Let's assume you're sending it to your friend. In a little while, you find that your mind is elsewhere, thinking about something you have to do tomorrow, maybe, right? And suddenly you realize this, that your attention is here. What do we need to do? First, we recognize that our attention is here. Second, we decide to let it be, which is the release step. Now, when it comes to the relax step, so whenever attention wanders, there is almost a gripping sensation that you'll feel in your mind. So, if you see this remote and I'm gripping it, right? So, this is literally how your mind wraps around that distraction, that other thought. When you relax, you have to just gently loosen your grip on that, loosen that tightness in your mind, and now you can make your journey back. This is a very critical step. It is in fact probably the most critical step in terms of moving towards our goal of that 10 by 10 day, transforming our experience of life to one of complete happiness. I'll be unpacking much more on this in today's evening talk, which is on craving, something the Buddha described as the root cause of all dissatisfaction. A couple of you told me that it seems a little unnatural to smile as often as I've been asking you to. I think firstly that is a commentary on why we need more of such practices in our lives. It should not be a challenge to smile, but don't worry about it, don't judge yourself, don't beat yourself up about it. It can happen, and it does happen to a lot of people. So two things here, right? So one thing is, think of the smile as a postural requirement to begin with, right? So you put a smile up simply because it's part of the posture, good posture, like a erect back or a erect neck, right? That is one way to look at it. The other thing is, when you smile or when you say I've got to smile now, and there is some resistance, there is some thought that says no, but I don't feel it, or I'm not going to fake a smile, right? That is just another thought. So that is another distraction that is coming up. It is a thought that has come up and taken your attention and told your attention that it is the most important thing, that you have to do what I say. Treat this as a distraction and use the 6 R's. Recognize that your attention is caught up in a thought that says, I don't feel like smiling, or I don't want to smile, like, or you can't make me smile. Release it. No need to challenge it, no need to fight it, no need to win any wars with it, right? Relax any tightness that has happened around it. Just like I demonstrated with the remote, loosen the grip around that thought. And you'll actually feel a tightness in your mind that you can loosen. Let it be. Smile and come back. Do this a couple of times, you'll find it easier to smile. Laugh it off, laugh at how your mind creates obstacles and traps for itself. Keep smiling, I'll see you in the evening. Hi, quick video on dealing with small distractions, right? So a lot of things may come up in your mind. You may hear some music playing, you may remember certain things that are kind of going on in the background, right? You don't need to use the 6 R's for all of them. So use the 6 R's only when your attention wanders completely away. You are wishing your friend, that sending them that feeling of goodwill, and suddenly you find yourself thinking about a totally different other topic, and you realize that you have completely forgotten your friend for that moment, right? That is the kind of time that we want to use the 6 R's. Recognize that our attention has wandered away, release the thought, relax, smile, come back, and use it as many times as required, right? what happens is all these distractions, they feed and grow on your attention, right? So unless if they are not getting your full attention, they will automatically subside. So things in the background that are happening, they'll subside after a time. Some of them may continue for a little while, but as long as you know that you are still with the object, that you're still sending that wish to yourself or to your friend, you don't need to worry about it, no need to use the 6 hours. I hope that helps. About restlessness. So we experience restlessness many times in the day. In the meditation setting also, you're likely to experience different spells of restlessness. Especially if you've thought of a particular time, as that time starts to approach, you might experience some restlessness. If your sitting is close to some task that you need to achieve, you might experience feelings of restlessness, right? What's important is when restlessness arises, it arises in the same way, right? There is a contact, there is a thought that comes in the mind, there's a contact that happens, there is a sensation that is accompanying that, and then suddenly from a thought of restlessness, it becomes, I am restless. How long do I need to sit, right? So it gets personalized. What we discussed the other day when we were discussing the 5 hindrances or distractions, restlessness is one of those distractions. We don't normally think of it, we think of it as some way that we are feeling, but it is actually a thought that has triggered this process. It has a flavor which is restless in nature. So what do? We recognize that our attention is caught up in thoughts of restlessness. We let it be. Right? We understand that, hey, another some thought, something has happened in our mind, our attention is gripped around it. Let it be. Relax any tightness in our mind, smile and come back to our object. And this may happen a few times, especially if the restlessness has become strong. We know that's why we have the last step, which is repeat, right? So every time your mind gets restless, for a few cycles you might need to repeat this. Once you cross this, it's a major mark of progress in your practice, right? Once you cross this bump, you will find that you're able to sit longer, much more easily. Good luck, and watch restlessness arise during your day in the world as well. Restlessness is going to be your friend for a long time. Being able to skillfully navigate that is a very, very useful asset to have.